Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Slay to Success Talk Show. I am your host, Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, and I am the CEO and founder of Slay to Success. I'm a leadership and personal brand expert, an image consultant, a self-published author of 3 books. Yes, y'all, I'm just writing a whole lot in here in my retirement, and as well as United States Air Force veteran. And so today, y'all, we are here. As you know, the purpose of this talk show is to bring in women and men and highlight those that are living on their own terms and they are having a positive impact in our world and using the slay philosophies. As you know, we talk about slay all the time here. Slay means to kill it, to dominate it, to nail it, to be on point, to dream and work hard until you own it. You impress people, you stepping out there, and you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing when you're doing it. It is also an acronym. The S stands for stay ready to be ready. L, lead out loud. A sense of community, a sense of family. And Y, you are built to last. And so nowadays, y'all, I support women and professional organizations to achieve success by working with them on their image and impact by focusing on appearance, behaviors, communication skills, and digital presence. And so tonight I have an amazing SLAYMAZING guest with me tonight, and we will get right to her here in a little bit. As you know, I advertise so you can see her bio, but you know, I give everyone their flowers because I think that it is so important to recognize men and women when they come here on the show on their full accomplishments and what they are doing for this world and how they are just stepping out there. So, as you know, I'm always doing something. Okay. So, this something next that I'm up to is I am going to be having a workshop. And this workshop is on July 13th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Nautilus Diner and Restaurant. Yes, we are doing things in person. I have been doing online workshops for the past year or so. Well, this time I'm going to do it in person. So if you are in the DMV area and you feel like this is something that you should attend, it is to empower your presence and confidence. All right. We're going to talk about mastering public speaking because, as you all know, I'm a professional keynote speaker and I have been speaking a lot here lately. So I'm give you some tips and tricks with that. Also, we're going to be talking about professional appearance, leadership skills, and we're also going to be looking at how we're going to enhance our communication skills. And that way, when you're out and about, they're impactful and they're memorable. Okay. So if you are interested in attending, it is on Eventbrite. All right. Everything that I do is put on Eventbrite on my website. You can go to www.slaytosuccess.com and you can find all the information there. So you must register. All right, because there's limited seatings, but I want you to share. If you know someone who can benefit from this workshop, share, and just send them my way. So that way they can be with like-minded women and we can just have a full conversation or full morning of it. All right. So who do I have here today? Okay. Well, this evening, first of all, happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are out there, those who stand in the gap of being a father. We appreciate you and keep on slaying so you can't slay no more. All right. Because being a father is a lot of hard work, especially if you're the ones who are doing it right. We celebrated our husband yesterday and today. And I said, well, you know, you probably need a lot more days to be celebrated because he is an amazing father to our son. I just wanted to say that before we get going. Okay. Hey, I know I miss you too, Natalie. Thank you so much for being here, Queen. I hope everything is going well for you. And I know we got our brunch with the ladies next month. I will be there. So thank you for being here live with us this evening because I have an amazing guest, a very special guest with us. Her name is Brenda McGregor, y'all, and she is dedicated to empowering women to recognize and harness their own power, enabling them to create the impact they deserve in their lives. Her mission manifests in various ways. Brenda is a woman's life and career coach, working one-on-one with women who feel stuck, stifled, or have abandoned their dreams, helping them to build the lives that they love. She has a podcast called If Only, and she features women who have overcome significant obstacles, inspiring listeners with their transformative stories. And as a speaker, Brenda conducts interactive sessions that empower women to explore new and exciting possibilities for themselves. Brenda also leads vision board workshops. Okay, y'all, because we need to have those types of things that are very visual so that we can have those to get and achieve our future goals. So she's helping individuals, companies, and organizations participate and to visualize and achieve those goals. Brenda is a 30 plus career executive. She was in executive space in the corporate world, and most recently as a VP of HR, which is human resources. And this is all enriched her purpose. Her extensive background in human resources and accounting is invaluable when assisting clients with personal employment issues or business owners with financial and employment matters. Now, I am thrilled because, as you can hear, we are in alignment. There's a lot of discussion points that we're going to have. If you have not got your tea or beverage of your choice, I've got my water because it's hot as I'll get out. I did my walk this morning or this afternoon. So I've got water here, but whatever you have, please welcome our guests to the stage. Hi, Brenda.
Hello, Rochelle. It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too. And you got all the background is very light. So tell the audience where you're at today.
Well, I'm in Ocean City, Maryland, and loving it. My mom and I drove down here this afternoon, hit a bit of traffic at the Bay Bridge, but there's nothing that makes me happier or feel more at peace than being near the water.
Yeah. You know what? And it's a beautiful day. Those that are here in the DMV, it's like 80 or so, but it's got a little breeze. So it's not too hot, too hot. It's hot, but it's not too hot, right?
That's right. That's right.
So, we met at a Businesswomen's Network um, of Howard County luncheon.
Yes.
And I think we've known each other for maybe 9 months to a year now. I'm not
Yes.
quite sure. Um, but as we were talking, we knew that we had a lot of things that we were in common, and certainly the empowerment of women came up for the both of us. So please tell the audience a little bit about yourself. You can tell personal things if you like, and then kind of how you led up to where you're at today.
Sure. Thank you, Rochelle. So,
Mhm.
as you said, and thank you so much for that generous introduction.
Absolutely.
Um, I was in the corporate world for 30 years, 37 years, actually. I hate to date myself, but in that role, I was able to grow pretty rapidly, but I encountered a lot of obstacles. And, there's a very unbalanced
Mhm.
up at the top. It's pretty unbalanced, but it's gotten better. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot about people, especially in HR, but my heart always was with women. How can I support their growth and that there is equity and inclusion for all women?
Mhm.
And it was a great experience for me. I look back on that. I feel especially proud of the fact that I was able to establish equity and pay and making sure that women were paid equally to men in our organization, as well as provide opportunities to women that they may otherwise not have achieved. And I did coaching in the corporate world. I coached executives and managers, and I loved that because I could see them progress and
Right.
progress in a way that was meaningful to them. It wasn't just um, words or progressing in knowledge. They actually took actionable steps to improve their circumstances, whether it was in their job. Oftentimes in the background, it's our personal lives that are
Mhm.
at the problem or the area where we're least satisfied. I can tell you countless stories of women who had thought they would never have children, who
Mhm.
through coaching got present to the fact they wanted a child and they made that happen, or they got married, or they just achieved at a level in their professional career that they had not thought they could achieve. So once my company was acquired, and part of my value as a coach is I was laid off after 37 years with the same
Mm,
company.
mm,
And I was left with, okay, what's next? Because I wasn't done yet. And
right.
I hired my own coach and I worked with them for 3 months, looking at what do I want to do next. And I quickly knew I didn't want to be responsible for it all again. And I looked at the two areas I was especially strong. Hello, is it
Hey,
Chevy?
Chevy. Yeah, it's Chevy. That's my accountability partner and my amazing, slayamazing friend. So yes, she views every week. All right.
That's
So
awesome.
it
That's a
is
good
awesome. I love
friend.
it. Yes.
Nice to see you. And so I loved risk management. I was really good at risk management, and we didn't have a in-house attorney, so I was the kind of the funnel that everything went through. Loved that. Then I handled all our workers' comp and anything to do with risk, and employees, of course, are risk. So I loved that, but it was like my husband Bill said to me, Brenda, why do you want to deal with problems all day?
Mm,
And so I was looking between risk management and coaching just filled me with joy. So I started my own coaching business back in the fall of 2022. And that's what I've been doing. And I've met wonderful people like you who have made a profound impact on me. I think supporting each other, like you said, within BWN, the different organizations that we're it helps just lift each other up. We pour
mhm.
into each other. That's my commitment to my clients. Pour into them everything that I can give them so that they can achieve their dreams. So
Yeah.
that's that's who I
I
am.
I like so again, we have both been in some sort of system, if you will, for
Yes,
a very long time, 3 decades, and more. And understanding that people who are in the system, the challenges that they face are unique to each one of them, but particularly for women. And so when we get together and we are in commune with one another, instead of competing with each other or
yes,
tearing each other down because they see something that they have and you want it, so you try to vibe for that. We understand that that does not particularly do well as a strategy. That is not a method, if you will, to use. And so when you were in the corporate world and you kind of saw, the challenges, if you will, and you just expressed a few of them, what did you want? What is it that you saw that like the number one trending thing that you saw for women that was very difficult? And then maybe offer a strategy, because I know we have a lot of women here that come and view. So like one particular, like maybe a common theme, because it will probably be the same when it was in the military for us too, but a common theme that you saw and maybe the strategy to overcome it.
great. Such a great question. Hi, Natalie. Thank you. Uh, so I know for me, and I'm older. I'm 65 years old. I started when I was 25 in the hospitality industry, and
Mm,
things have changed a lot. And I do think there are more opportunities today. But the challenge is we know the statistics, and I don't actually know them off the top of my head, but the majority of people in power in companies are white men,
mm-hmm,
period.
mm-hmm.
And they're comfortable there.
Yeah.
That's a world that they reciprocate with each other, they help each other out. There's a whole band of brotherhood there.
Mhm.
And it was hard to penetrate that.
Yeah.
And much like I've heard in the Black community, you have to do 10 times more. And women, the same, white women, all women, the same thing. You have to do that much more to prove yourself,
Mm-hmm.
where they're just helping each other out all the time. And that's one of the first things I've learned. Women have to do things the same way that white men have been doing it. You have to help each other out. You have to band together to help each other out.
Yes.
and lift each other up. Like you said, we could keep all that knowledge and experience to ourselves, but it becomes a very lonely place if you're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Your life is so much more bountiful if you're helping each other. And so the strategy I learned, because I'm known, and if you talk to the white men in the company I used to work for, wonderful human beings, don't get me wrong, I was a very direct speaker. I still am.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that knows me will say, oh, yeah, she's one of the most direct speakers. And I had to learn, not just with them, but with other people in my life, my family, my husband, my kids. I had to tailor how I spoke.
Mm.
And I used to take that as, oh, no, I'm not changing who I am for anybody
Right.
else. But if I wanted them to hear what I was really saying, I had to communicate in a way that they could receive it.
Yes. Yes.
And so the two things I really want to hone in on this. One, the biggest challenge I see with women is they don't use their voice.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do use their voice, they're using it in a way that people can't hear them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my coaching focused on that, helping develop the self-confidence and knowledge how awesome you really are
Mm-hmm.
so that you can start using your voice. And when you use your voice, that it's being communicated in a way that it can be received as you intended.
Yes.
Once I got that, literally the whole world changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know that that's to be true, because it's the same as in the military setting too. There is a lot of white men. The majority is white men in the military. And as I was climbing up the ranks, um, you got to know your stuff, right? You have to understand what situation that you're walking into, and you're constantly adjusting. I was like this, a meter, right? Like sometimes I had to bring my voice way up here,
Yes.
and make sure that my voice was filling the room and making sure that I knew what I was speaking to. But sometimes I had to bring it on down here, right? When I
Yes.
really wanted to make my point. All right, because people really used to get a little scared when I was talking really loud. They're like, oh
Yes.
no, like this is the big, and she's gonna let this thing, come out. And and you're right. Understanding your voice and understanding how powerful it is,
Yes.
and then teaching other women to do that, especially young women. For me, I enjoyed having young women, and within the ranks of what we call senior airmen, staff sergeants, who are just kind of learning what this system is and navigating through that. And I just love to share with them, like, even the littlest things, right? Like, don't even be chewing gum. Okay, you're chewing
Right.
gum here, and it's a very important meeting, and you're talking. It's little things, right? But it produces so much results. And I love the fact that you said we are with one another, and we are sharing, and we are not concerned about how much information you have and how much information you have and what you're going to do with that. Because if people really want to just go and do it, they will. All right. You'll find out who those people are, right? But for the most part, people are just trying to figure it out. Really just trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's enough room at the table for all of
Ah,
us.
yes.
And as long as we're bringing our unique self,
Yes.
that's our unique self. There's never going to be another one of us.
Yeah.
And how I coach is different than how the next coach coaches, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
And there's plenty of room. I just had an hour-long call with somebody who's trying to embark or reset their coaching business. And like you said, a lot of people might say, oh, why would you do that?
Hmm.
But I want to lift people up, and I know there's plenty of room at the table.
Yeah. So, when you started your business after, because we have kind of the same pathway, um, and starting the business after a very long career, very successful career, yours ended differently than mine did. However, you know, what are the challenges that you faced, as you became an entrepreneur? Because we've got several women here who are going to come back here and they're entrepreneurs and they're starting at the same ages, if you will, between the ages of 50 and 60 of
Hmm.
rebranding and starting out anew. So tell us a little bit about that journey and or what's going on? What's it looking like for you right
Oh, well,
now?
thank you. So
Mhm.
I started out, I was fortunate. I honestly was fortunate. I had a bit of a severance, which was
Mm.
very, very helpful, which I
Yes.
know not everyone has.
Right.
So I didn't have to work a job and start my business.
Right.
I also have an extremely supportive husband, which not everyone has.
It's
Makes a
important.
huge, but it's huge to me.
Me too.
And so I started out slow. My oldest son, Bill, is a development guy with a construction company. And he told me from the get go, Mom, all of the social media and stuff is wonderful. It's good that people get to know your brand. But for being a coach, you need to go meet people so that they
Mhm.
trust you. And I've honored that. So I've done a lot of networking and getting to know people, getting connected with people. And that was not very comfortable for me, to be honest,
Yeah.
because I was just talking to my mom about this today. I was used to working in a corporate environment where it was
Mhm.
pretty head down, focused on the 4,000 employees I had, the 30 hotels, the 8 restaurants. I didn't do a lot of networking. I didn't need to. It was all self, right? Now, I did
Yes.
belong to a VP of HR network of women, which was amazing, but we were scattered all over the country. So we didn't
Yeah.
see each other. And so networking and going out, I am, even though most people don't see this in me, I'm very introverted naturally. And it was a lot for me to go in a networking meeting and talk to strangers about me. And that has been growth for me because it's still not the thing I'm great at. But I set a small goal and I say, I'm going to talk to at least 3 people tonight.
Mhm.
And I've since come to believe I meet exactly who I'm supposed to meet, like
Yes.
you, right?
Yes. Yep.
I believe our paths, we are led where we're meant to go.
Mhm.
And I have seen that play out time and time again on this journey. Um, I ended up working, I had a business coach and I worked with him for a year and amazing experience. He was my coach, my one-on-one coach, and I coached the other participants in a group coaching program, and they were all business owners.
Mm.
Now, I coached executives, but I had never been a business coach.
Yeah.
So that was huge. It was a huge blessing to me. And my HR skills and accounting skills were invaluable to them.
Yes.
And that was huge. And that helped lead me to referrals. I have some business owners I coach. Primarily, they're executives or women in the work world. Um, but it's grown. I stopped working with that business coach. I've since moved on. I have some other professional development that I'm doing to help me continue to grow. And I really am availing myself of women like you
Mhm.
in these networks I've met to bounce things off of and find out what's working for you, what's working for me. You and I just had that
We
conversation
sure did.
and reciprocate. How can I help you? And here's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. And, same, I got a business coach for a few months and, I kind of just started walking through, because it's like all this information that you're that you're given as, and you're never been an entrepreneur before, you just don't know, you know.
Yes.
But the benefit, what you said of networking, like network like crazy, and finding out there are so many people in the world, because same as military, head down. Okay. I am focused on my job. We've got deployments, readiness things, all the things. It's literally like I dropped onto a new planet when I
Yes.
retired, and I didn't know what it was all about. I really didn't understand networking until, I went to a lunch and learn, and I was like, oh, that's what networking is supposed to be. Like, it is supposed to be in there just, drinking whatever and eating whatever,
Right,
and it's
right.
like, let me find out who's doing what and see if there's somewhat of an alignment, even if it doesn't serve you right then and there. You never know, it may serve someone else that you know. So it's not about, because I always look at, kind of the business front of, it's not about who's in my first order. All right. We all know, everybody in here, they'll come to the space and know I'm on LinkedIn. All right. LinkedIn is there. I'm every day. But it's not the first people that I am in contact with that reach out. It is the second and the third,
Mm-hmm.
so it's that ripple effect, because they know somebody who knows that person, that knows that person, that person. And so talking about that networking, and really understanding the goals. You said, hey, I got a goal. I'm going to meet 3 new people. All right. And I'm not going to just sit in the corner. I'm not just going to be a wallflower. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to actually get to know 3 people, and then walk away with your life being so enriched. And that's exactly how I feel too. It's like
Yes.
so many new people that you had no idea are doing so, like, when you meet people and they tell you what their business is, it is something that is like, wow, I never even thought of that. I met
That's
somebody
right.
who was like a person who saves you time. And saves you time is on all the things. Whatever you don't want to be doing, they have somebody or a team of people that will help you do that, right?
Absolutely. That sounds wonderful. I love that. That they're like
Yeah.
a one-stop shop for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the creativity and innovation of especially women, because we are finding areas where we have experienced a lot of challenges and maybe frustration and stress, and creating a business around that. But with creating a business, Brenda, believe in us, right? That we know that is a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of effort, and there's a lot of energy. So, how do you take care of yourself? Because I get your emails weekly. All right. I
Oh,
am a reader of your emails, and you had one about self care.
yes.
So, talk to us a little bit about what self care is to you, and how do you help your clients when they're probably having challenges with finding self care.
Totally. And one of the themes I see with women is they always put themselves last.
Mhm.
And I have one client that comes to mind that considers anything she does for herself, she was using the term, it's selfish. I know I'm being selfish, but I'm going to be going to get a massage, or I'm going to go have a girls' weekend. And so one of the biggest things I had to interrupt that and say, I'm going to ask you to change how you look at this. It is not selfish. We've been steeped in this belief that if we're not doing for others, that we're then being selfish. No, this is us filling our cup up so we can be our best selves for others.
Yes.
Um, I had a client actually when I was coaching, he was a coach, and he was a very high paid coach. I think he had 4 clients max, and the rest of his time was spent on self-care. He would do
Mm.
yoga, he would do meditation, he would do exercise, he would do whatever he needed so that when he showed up for his clients, he could be 100% there for them.
Wow.
Now imagine if we could give ourselves a little bit of that. And similar to my client who thought it was selfish, that's who I was for very many, many years. And I love doing for others. It's huge to me. I have 9 grandkids. There's nothing I'd rather do than spend time with them. But it can be exhausting. And if I'm going to be my best to the people in my life, my husband, my kids, my grandkids, my clients, this year has been pivotal to me. I mean, it's a little embarrassing to say that it took me to 65. So to all of you watching the show, don't wait till you're 65. Or if you are 65, get started now. So I started taking yoga this year with Jill Krause from BWN.
Oh, yeah,
She's a gift, a blessing to me. I am doing more events where I went to, I'm trying to remember her first name right now, but she's wonderful. I got a facial with her. Last name's Mendenhall. Um, I, I've tried to do things. I try to read more. I'm at the beach, right? Where things I may have looked at before as self-centered or selfish, I realize I am better for everyone if I'm
yeah.
taking care of myself. Like I said recently, sometimes I just go take a nap, which never in the corporate world I would have done. That was like unheard of. But sometimes I just say, okay, I can't do another thing today. I'm going to go take a nap.
Yeah. Yeah, we are both. When you're a high performing woman,
Yes.
right? And then we go from A to Z, right? At lightning speeds.
At lightning speed.
And we don't look at what is happening with us. And we tell ourselves, nope, I've got to push through this. Nope, I've got to do this today. Nope. And in retirement, I'm telling you what, it is. I am so much about self-care that it is not even funny. When I'm here most of the time, and I run around and do a whole lot of things, but when I
Sure.
have time on my schedule, I look at spots where I can go and get, I do stretching. I love to go stretch zone and get stretches in, getting my nails done, getting my hair done, getting all the things where it makes me feel at my best. But when I was in corporate, or military, I would not, like you, I would not take a nap. Okay. Until I was doggone tired. And I'm like, now I feel so guilty. Why am I taking a nap? Because you've been running around, right? And you're tired and you should,
Yes.
you know? And Chevy, so me and Chevy talk all the time. And so I know this to be true. So she does monthly massage,
And I
waxes.
love this.
She went on a solo date last night by herself.
I
All
love
right.
this, Chevy. Smart
Yes.
woman.
She is. And she's got, she's got I think, how old is Maya now? She's like 5,
Oh
4 or 5.
my.
She's got a little, and she's retired from the military, but she's got older children as well. So she realizes, and she started her business. So she realizes these are the things that are most important for her, and she's been doing it. And I think that more women, like you said, should really start to invest in themselves when it comes to self care and
Yes.
stop looking at it as being, well, if I do this, everyone will tell me that I'm being selfish.
Yes.
She'll be 5 next month.
5
So,
next
yes.
month. Well, happy
Mhm.
birthday to
Yeah.
Maya.
Yeah. So, self care is so, 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 like you said, if anyone's listening in or comes back for the replay, understand that it's not being selfish, that you need to show up your whole self. And the only way
Yes.
you can do that is to pick the things that are going to make you do that for yourself. I'm not saying go out there and spend your whole paycheck or anything like that on, and if I could go in shopping, but
Yes.
we have to be doing something for ourselves. And she says it's a must for us as moms and women.
It's so true. And I'm glad you figured that out, Chevy.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
And you
agree.
may be someone who gets pushback in your life or people
Mhm,
that are judgmental of you and the choices you're making. And that's an area that a lot of women grapple with,
mhm.
when they get pushback or someone questions them, either like you said, the money they're spending or the time away, or even if I just want to go for a walk, it doesn't cost anything but some time, and your spouse resents you or won't work with you on things. It's women tend to get small, or
Mm,
people can get small in the face of disagreement or in the face of non-alignment with people in your life. And that's an area where I have discovered, and my clients work to discover, clarity and clearness. Because
mm.
once we get clear about things, people will align with us or they won't. But then you'll at least know that
Yes,
you're clear.
yes, absolutely. And, when you're setting boundaries, because again, these are things that we need to do and we may have problems with, because when we show people this is the routine or these are the things that we do and they don't necessarily agree with them, we could just say, okay, well, I'll just stop. But, I decided, probably more than halfway in my career, like, no, this is what I do. I love to exercise in the morning. Everyone knows I exercise in the morning. I don't answer calls unless it's an emergency. I don't answer texts, and so forth and so on. After I'm done working out, I have to eat. Okay. I know I do some intermittent fasting, but sometimes, we can go throughout the day and not even eat because we feel
Yes.
like, oh, well, we'll just, go on and we'll just figure it out later. And then you're grumpy and all the things that come with that. So, and then we have to get the rest. We have to be taking care of ourselves and going to bed on time and making sure that we're refreshed. So it's a lot, but like you said, these are the things that we must be doing for ourselves, and figuring out early instead of later is much better
Yeah,
because then we'll have
absolutely.
a more fulfilling life. That's what I think anyway.
I completely agree. Completely agree.
So, we talked about, certain areas that, we do on the show a lot of, you know, um, talking about business and talking a little bit about self-care. The one other area that I want us to talk about is mindset,
Hmm.
because I have ran into, a lot of women who are kind of in the negative space. And a lot of the self-doubt and imposter syndrome and not quite being sure. So, what have you encountered? And again, share with us kind of what you share with your clients who are struggling a little bit with these areas.
Yes. Well, it's interesting because every one of my clients, men and women, because I do work with some wonderful men,
Mm-hmm.
self-confidence is an issue. Even
Mm,
those people that on the outside look like they have self-confidence,
yeah.
I have not met one client, or when I worked in the corporate world, one person that I coached that didn't struggle with self-confidence. Now they may be confident in some areas like that are just slam dunks for them.
Right.
But but in certain areas, we all have it. We're all
Mm-hmm.
human. We all have areas that we are rock stars. And then we have other areas where our lack of self-confidence in that area hinders us.
Right.
So usually how I've been taught, and it's not to place blame or anything, but usually things happen throughout our life when we're
Mm-hmm.
children, as we get older, that start to limit what's possible to us. Think about like your first heartbreak, your first someone broke up with you. Our first thought after that typically is, I'm never going to let that happen again.
Yep.
And we change how we act
Mm-hmm.
to align with, I'm never going to let that happen again. And it starts to limit what's possible. And we do that in a lot of areas. Maybe your first job, you were told you are never going to be good at accounting. You just can't get it. Well, guess what? What are they going to do? They're not going to continue with accounting. They might
Mm-hmm.
change their whole career path because of it. Or
Yep.
whatever it is happens that we then take it as the truth. And we alter our actions out of that. And we become a mutated version of ourselves.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
what I work with my clients is looking at where are those decisions you made that maybe you made when you were 10. I have a client I'm working with that recognizes that they made a decision when they were 10, that they
Mm.
just had to be agreeable, and because they didn't want anybody upset in their life. And that's how they've spent their life. But they're allowed to be disagreeable,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's being able to see, okay, how did I make that decision? And does it still serve me at the age of 40 or 45 or 25? This decision I made when I was 16, does it really serve me now?
Right. Yeah.
And it opens up a whole new world. Now, it doesn't just all of a sudden you're going to, create miracles, but it's a place that you're now aware. Like one of my biggest attributes that has allowed me to be successful is I'm the most determined person you'll ever meet. You and I bet, are very similar.
Mm-hmm. We are.
But I used to just automatically be determined. It was just part of my natural abilities.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn that being determined was great in certain circumstances, but it's not always the answer. And it's recognizing, okay, that's me again, automatically being determined. Is it appropriate in this situation? So it's getting to know yourself
Uh-huh.
and getting to really look analytically and non-judgmentally to, okay, is this really how I want to be? Or do I want to start practicing breaking out of those automatic ways of being?
Yeah. And I love that because that is a thought-provoking um just statement, if you will, because I never really thought about it that much as to, determine, because I am a very determined type of woman. I'm like,
Mhm.
if I want it, I am going to get after it. But as you are saying that, it's like there are some things that I just don't need to attack it all the time.
Right, right. Yes,
I
yes.
don't need to just take it and just be like, I'm gonna get it, because some things just naturally flow to us.
Yes, exactly, Rochelle. Exactly.
They naturally come just by the virtue of us doing even the and I want and say, like, you're at like the highest level of being highly driven to get something, because you can still operate at 3 if you and some of my audience here, they understand these levels that I talk through. So I used to operate at a level 10 for a very long time, and I can I can feel the stress, but I was able to manage it, because after so many years, you get used to working at that higher level, that that stress is there, right? But I didn't always have to operate at 10. I should have
Right.
been operating at times at 3 or 4, and kind of letting things just um naturally evolve,
Yes.
instead of like being given a task. Cause so, when we were given a task, I would just be like, yep. And I had my pen out, I had my little notebook, and I'm just like writing all the things. And I'm like, and this person's gonna be here and that, and I'm gonna call that person, da 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 da. And all that energy that it took for me to do all of that, people in the background were already just doing it. They were already having the answer, that they were coming up with the solutions. I was like, well, what am I doing?
Yeah.
It's
Right.
a lot.
I totally get that. And I also hear all of that really like nose to the grindstone, working like a dog, making sure that you get things done to the top degree. Now, I think you're always going to deliver with a high level of excellence. I know I will too.
Yes, absolutely.
But that, think of all the people, and I know that people watching the show will know this. There are people in your organization that are so successful that don't put half into it that you do.
Right.
And so what I've learned is to really hone in on your gifts that are unique and that you bring to the table that really no one else can.
Hmm.
And let some of the other stuff go. You do not, you be the expert in who you are as an expert.
Yes.
Find a way to be the expert. That's the people. And almost in a way, it's like not good to be such a generalist. Find a way that you stand out, and then you don't have to work like a dog.
I These are things that we should have had someone tell us when we were younger. I feel like
Absolutely.
these lessons that I learned came much after, like almost to a point where I was almost at retirement. Like, I'm not doing all the work out here. Like, I need to chill out. All right. And I need to focus on what I do best. And for me, it was public speaking. I'm like, I could speak all day. Just give me the microphone or allow me to share whatever we have and then let me be. Okay. All this
Yes.
other stuff over here, please. I need people who are experts in spreadsheets. I am not a spreadsheet type
That's
person.
it. Exactly.
Give that to somebody else and delegate. They'll be more than happy to fill out the numbers on the sheet and do all the things, right? I am not good at event planning, even though I like to say that I'm a party person, right? But you have the people on the team who like to organize. Let them do the thing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we don't have to eat it all up. I feel like, we go to the buffet a lot and we want to eat everything on the buffet. We don't need to eat everything on the buffet. Allow someone else, to take in a couple of things. So that way we're, like you said, not working like a dog and thinking, well, I don't even have the energy to do anything else
Yes.
after I'm done, you know? And Chevy says, I love planning and directing events. Yes, she does.
That's awesome. See, there's the
Yeah,
partnership.
it's like you could do that. Like, I'll just show up and give me the microphone and I'll just MC the whole thing, right?
There
So
you go.
it's like, but I love how, you're sharing some of these, and these are gems that, you're sharing with us, and these are
Oh,
tips that
thank you.
we can definitely start implementing in our everyday life and having the right mindset around what we are doing. And so that way we are giving our best and not like losing ourselves. Because I feel like there's a lot of times we want to be so great at everything that we just don't even understand what we're doing at the end of the day. I know if I'm speaking from self,
Yes.
so we want to be the only viable option. I talk about this a lot. OVO. We want to be the only viable option in what we are best at.
Yes.
So put all your eggs into that little basket. And then you will see, when you say we're all unique, we're all different, we have our own way of doing things. And that's what people are going to come to us about because we decided we weren't going to do all the things,
Yes.
you
It's
know?
hard though. I don't know about
Oh, I
you.
know.
It I was I'm such a type A, and I have high standards. High standards. And so I mean, honestly, I had a reputation in the corporate world. People would say I was intimidating, which now in this version of me makes me laugh. It's like, oh my gosh. But my first hire when I was building my department was this amazing human being, Destiny. And Destiny, I hired as a generalist and a recruiter. And she was the best recruiter that I know. But early on, I was having a hard time letting go. of the responsibilities, because I was used to handling it all. And
Mhm.
I know that there are so many people in that space where it's hard for them to delegate, even though they have people they can delegate it to, whether it's their spouse, whether it's
Mhm.
to a child, whether it's to a coworker. To your point, let them shine. Like, and even if they don't, like, that's the thing I had to learn. Eventually had three other people on my team that supported the department. And I let them make mistakes because I had made plenty of mistakes. And why can't I let them grow? I wouldn't have grown to the point I grew to. I mean, I wasn't going to allow any critical mistakes,
Mhm.
but allow them to learn how to shine and to
Yes.
discover what their gifts are.
Yes.
And
Look, I'm with you. Go ahead.
but it's hard because
It's
if we have such high standards, and then of course we have them for ourselves and we have them for the people around us, it can create a less than ideal relationship where they feel ill at ease. And they're like, oh, I mean, think about it. Think about all of us that can't stand the way our spouse loads the dishwasher, and we go in behind them and change it, right?
Yeah.
Or anything, or folds the laundry, or makes the bed, or, whatever it is, like, we think we know best.
Yes. We
And
do.
it's letting go of that and letting other people contribute however they're going to contribute.
Yes. We are the same. And I don't know the soul sisters or something, but I'm like, I'm very type A. I like things a certain way, and it's kind of like when something is being done, it's even the simplest things right now. I could say is my son's bathroom, like I'm like, okay, let's clean this bathroom. Here is what needs to be done. He goes, does what he does. Then I go back behind him and I'm wiping and I'm doing this stuff. And I'm like, what am I doing? And it is this cycle, right? And you have to really consciously say to yourself, I'm not gonna go back. Because at the end of the day, is it hurting anyone? That's kind of where I am. I like, what's the priority here? He did the best that he could do. All right. If it's not spot clean in here, what is going to happen in here? Nothing. All right. So, and it's just things like that, that because, and it is for me how I was raised, it was get these things done. My dad was in the military for 23 years. And so we were the airmen. Okay. We were his airmen. And so it was really this disciplined structure, high, performing, the stress, all the things that I then encounter went into a career for 30 years just to do that too, and trying to release, trying to let
Yes.
go. It's just so difficult for me, but I am learning like where my points are, because I have, some stressors as everyone else does, and just allowing things just to be. Okay, just let it be, and things will work out, the way that they were meant to be. And so I really enjoyed your take on that, and really expressing to us about, how type A's, and because most of us women that are
We
getting it done, we
Yep.
we got our hands on everything, okay?
That's the
And
truth. And we have to. I mean, I hate to say that. I don't know. I do have my oldest daughter and her husband. They are very balanced. Most of my kids with their spouses, they're a different generation where they're much more balanced
yeah,
in terms of what each of them do,
right.
much more than my generation.
Yes, yeah.
Um, but you said something I can't even fathom, going from this very regimented military life. You grew up with it, and then you had your own 30 years at it. To break that because I imagine everything was spotless, spick and span clean in the military, and it was corners, it was everything. So then, of course, that's normal to you. That's the
Oh
way
yeah.
it should be. And to be able to recognize, is this really that important? And one of the things I say to my clients, especially my women clients, okay, you can either be right or
Mm-hmm.
happy. Do you
Mm.
want to be right or do you want to be happy? And it's letting go of not everything. It's good to have standards. And you mentioned boundaries earlier. There's
Yep.
some things that are non-negotiable, that
Yes.
just this is my boundary.
Yep.
But there's so much out there in the world of, can I be flexible with this? And would I rather make a big deal out of X, or would I rather have a peaceful evening with my child or my spouse or do I really want to be all pent up over the bathroom not being spotless?
Exactly. And it is a day by day, sometimes minute by minute journey for me,
Totally makes
because I
sense.
really like when you get to the highest level, and then you are responsible for all these people and making sure they, like you said, spick and span. Then it's like in your family home. And my husband, he served for 30 years. So guess what? My son has no chance up in here. He just is like, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm like, just
Let me breathe.
yeah, like just say it, he's just like, please, and it's something that we're working through, because we both realize that when you're in environments that are very structured, um and then as women, as you said, we have our hand on everything, the pulses. We know what people are doing, how they're doing it, and what needs to be adjusted at any point in time. And so allowing us to be able to be freeing a little bit and be a little bit more flexible, it's a journey for me, for sure. So I
Absolutely.
love
Well, at
that.
least you're on the journey. A
Yes.
lot of us just stay with these blinders on and don't even realize that this may be not working the way I would like it to work.
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
So, before we close out, because we've been on here, I knew it. I knew it. I knew
Oh
it.
my gosh, it's gone by so fast.
It always does,
I
especially
bet.
when we're talking the same language and we have so much to share with everyone about these particular subjects. But, I do want you to kind of share with the audience, um, anything else that you think is relevant, all right, for them to know, or to take a takeaway that you want to just re-emphasize on, something that you want to really like get out there, because like you said, each of us has something different, right? And
Yes.
each of us are on a mission to, and fill in the blanks. So your mission is to, and then I want you to just expound on it just a little bit more. Like, what is your ideal when your client leaves you? What is it that you want your client to have, to express, to be? What is that?
I love that question. Thank you.
Mhm.
It's something that I've learned, and I've been told, not people don't really want to be this, but it has given me the life I have, is recognizing that I'm responsible for all that I have and all that I don't have in my life.
Mm.
And I have created a life that I love all my life. And that's what I want my clients to have. They may come to me and have a challenge with their career or with their spouse or with their parents. And I want to help them break through to achieve what they really desire, and that they are able to look at their life, all of their life, and
Mm.
love all of it, not just pieces of it.
Wow, that's deep.
And I can only say that because I've been on my own journey, and
Mhm.
I know my life isn't perfect, and I
Mhm.
have problems, and I have kids who have problems, I have issues, but I know when I lay my head on my pillow at night, I am so profoundly grateful for my life, and I know that I've created it.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. And I actually really love that you said I'm responsible for what I have and what I don't have.
Yes, 100%, 100%, and that's not the truth, but it's how I live my life.
Mhm. So y'all, again, I'll tell you, I've been doing this show for probably about a year or so. And when I have guests like yourself that come here and just pour in to the audience and really are giving of themselves as far as sharing some of these, and these are just thoughts, if you will. These are like the wisdom, that sometimes we don't really have, or we don't hear oftentimes. So I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, for being here as a guest on the Slate to Success talk show.
Amazing experience, one of my favorite experiences. Talk about filling up my cup. This time spent with you, you are an amazing host and an amazing human being, and I look so forward to seeing what else we can work with together.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because this is just the beginning. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, y'all, you're welcome, both you, Chevy and Natalie. Thank you for being
Yes.
here live with us tonight, because I know there's a million and one things going on, especially with it to being today, Father's Day. But you decided to share your time and your energy with us, and we thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. And ladies and gentlemen, I know the gentlemen will be coming back in here. We will be coming back here on next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have another guest. And as well as on Tuesday for the Rise and Slay morning show. If you need a little bit of more oomph for the week, at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, again, thank you so much, Brenda, for being here as a guest. And I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. And as you know, y'all, when I say keep on slaying until you can't slay no more, you know that is the end of this show. So we'll see you all soon.
Thank
Take
you.
care. You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much. I
You're
really had
welcome.
fun.
You're welcome. Hang on tight here for me.